And what is up, broskies and broskats? This is your host, White Trash Donnie. Welcome to the Sloppy Syndicate. We have Stillnight in the studio. They will be on shortly. They are a post-metalcore band that just dropped their release album on the 25th of this month, Dream State. So something metal fans of all will like, especially if you like Bullet for My Valentine. They will be right up your alley. So again, thanks for joining us. We are streaming on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, as well as all the major podcasting platforms that will be uploaded after the show today. So if you have any questions in the audience, let us know, and we will get the band to answer some questions. And without further ado, let's bring the busiest men in show business on the stream.
Right
What is
on.
up? So we can tell you're extremely busy because they are in their tour van having an interview on the Sloppy Syndicate show. So it is a pleasure to have you. Again, this is Stillnight, not the full band, but two important figures in the band. Post-metalcore. The Dream State just came out March 25th. So how excited are you for that album? It was a long time in the works.
Yeah, it was. We're beyond stoked. Yeah, it's been a dream come true for all of us. Absolutely.
All right. So, some of these you have some ambient lyrics. It kind of starts out. I mean, it's so hard to explain. It starts out super mellow, ambient, and then it just goes into, you got the guitar riffs. It turns into straight metal, essentially post-hardcore. There's so many terms that we use nowadays, but it's metal is metal.
Yeah.
What's up, E-Rock? Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us in the chat, folks. We are live, as I said. If you have any questions for the band, do not hesitate to post them on the screen, and we will get that answered if at all possible. So again, we are streaming on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, with everything else being transferred to all the major podcasting platforms. So again, Stillnight, it's a pleasure to have you. We got Legislation Generation in the house. Thanks for joining us. He is on Twitch. So it's good to have you in the stream as well. So you do more than just metal. The band has taken a step forward in ushering in a new era of modern metal. So with the ambient backgrounds and the riffs, and you kind of have a whole, I don't want to say a different genre to this album, but you have a certain sound. Is that the sound that you guys were going for originally, or it just kind of came, through the songwriting process, and you were like, "Bam, this fits. I like this."
Yeah. Well, one thing was like Cody had his own vision for the band, and then I got on, and I feel like I kind of complemented his vision while also bringing a little bit of my own. So it kind of turned into something a little bit different because of my vision mixing with his to kind of create our own thing, and I think all of us are digging it a lot. I mean, Cody is really impressed with how everything came about, and overly pleased, and yeah, we love it.
And this, the Dream State is again released March 25th. There are 14 tracks on that album. So, what was the process of recording? How long did that take to get the full studio album completed and in the studio? Any music videos, etc.?
Yeah, recording actually didn't take that long since I joined the band in July, and we got fully recorded in November, I want to say. So the recording actually wasn't that long, and that was writing, recording. It's just the length of it. It comes from Cody just writing for years before I. Yeah, and then Tony coming on and putting his own his opinions and thoughts into it and everything, and kind of helping us form it there at the end. We had started before he got on. So yeah, recording wasn't all that bad. I think when I started, and Cody was like, I want to get the stuff moving. And I was like, yeah, for sure. So we were just not so much in a rush, but we were just steady working, just trying to make progress with it, just trying to get something out so we can, you know, like get on with like putting shows together and making more content in the future, and just really trying to get everything going in a forward direction.
Okay, very cool. So, quick turnaround, but I'm sure you guys had some things in your pocket that you could obviously, some songs, things like that, lyrics in your pocket that you could bring out and add to this album. So, a very good question from Legislation Generation on Twitch. So, will your music represent the social changes the society is currently going through? For this album, I go ahead. I'll let you guys speak before I speak. So.
Good. Sorry, I thought that was the end of the question. Yeah, for one thing, we feel like the world is focusing or is kind of taking more importance into mental health concerns, and that's a lot of what the album and the vision of the band goes for, is trying to take mental health seriously. So that's one thing we feel like we do well with, as far as complementing the progression of the society. Yeah, and then Tony, you got anything for that?
Yeah, I
I'm
feel
not
like
trying to be the only one that talks.
I feel like it also touches on like the key aspect of not being dogmatic, freeing your mind and like opening your mind to other possibilities,
Definitely.
being the change you want to see in the world, not
For
just
sure.
kind of giving in to how crazy this world is, and like striving to be better as well.
Yep, absolutely. So I would 100% agree, and I'm glad you touched on mental health. Mental health is a big issue at the forefront now that is not taboo as it was. So that is a great response, and much appreciated to see you guys focusing on bettering mental health and some social social issues as you guys just spoke about. So great question, legislation, and thank you for bringing that up. Any other questions in there? Go ahead and pop them in. We do have some questions of our own coming up here shortly. But in the meantime, any tours? What's on the horizon for you?
Yeah, we got three shows actually. First one's tonight, and then two more in the next 2 days. We're trying to make the most out of this weekend because we've all got lives to get back to. So yeah, practiced last night, practicing a little bit more after this, and gonna bump out these three shows with some really cool bands. We're super stoked on it. It's been a couple months since we did a show, and we want to get more stuff going. So this is kind of just like the predecessor of what we've got going on later on in the year.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on trying to plan something out for June, like a longer, tour, probably like maybe 2 weeks, somewhere around there. But we're really just kind of open to playing as many shows as we possibly can, So just
Getting
trying
the
to get
new
everywhere.
get the new album out and let everyone kind of get a taste of it. So awesome album. Again, Bullet for My Valentine, some of the old school metal. You kind of get the riffs, you get the ambient startups, and it's just an incredible album. And you guys did a hell of a job on the album. All 14 songs are great. Obviously, I have my few favorites, but overall, the entire album is worth a listen. So, for the folks that have not heard of Still Night, where could we find Still Night at?
Yeah, YouTube. The full album is streaming on YouTube, so we have the link for that on our page. Spotify, iTunes. I think we were trying to get stuff put out on Amazon. We were having issues trying to figure that out last night, but I think we went through DistroKid, so everything, it should be on every like major platform. If it's not, then we're gonna work on getting it everywhere. But yeah, our Facebook page and Instagram page will give everyone what they need to know to get to whatever platform you use to stream, or and then I think you can buy it on the website. Cody know more about that, but
Yeah, we got Apple Music, iTunes. You can buy it on there and everything. So
Yep, and I know it's on Spotify. I listened on Spotify. So that comes another question. As far as the music industry these days, how do you think um, social media? How do you think these the apps such as Spotify, Apple Music? How do you think that has affected the music industry itself compared to 8, 10 years ago, where you had to buy a CD or had to buy a record or cassette?
Well, it's definitely affected it in a lot of ways, both negative and positive. The negative aspects is obviously like people aren't making as much money off of like selling albums and selling CDs. Because of the streaming services and everything don't pay as much as it used to. Like 10 to 15 years ago, as far as like just buying CDs. But the positive changes I feel personally outweigh some of those things because now you can kind of take it into your own hands. You can build a brand on social media, get your music out there to people through the internet, and connect with a lot more people than you ever could have, 10 to 15 years ago. So there is definitely a give and take to it, and there's some challenges, but it's very cool to like be able to just build your own brand and like get out there and do it yourself instead of having to rely on these huge institutions and these record labels and everything. So it gives you a little bit more freedom to kind of take control and get yourself out there.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I saw that there's some streaming platforms that are being specifically designed to be able to pay artists more. So I think that if it's not optimized right now, that it can be, because I see bands that'll say, well, the best way to support us is to buy a CD and then also stream our stuff, because whatever little money we make on streaming platforms will just add to the price of the CD, and then it makes it like it would in the old days, but better. So we would actually benefit from it in that way.
right. And I would agree as well. Now you can essentially socially network across the entire world versus, okay, well, I'm kind of stuck in, for me, I'm in Florida. Okay, so my reach, unless I have a major record label, I'm not going to reach as far across the nation or even the world. But nowadays, I mean, I've been listened to in Germany. So it's like, wow, you kind of see, the map of where things are listened to. And it's kind of, it's intriguing, but at the same time, like you said, pros and cons. You're not getting the record sales or the CD sales. But at the same time, uh, it's not $1 million per stream, but you are getting a little bit per stream on these, applications. Um, and then another question. What's up, Vic? Thanks for popping in. Happy Friday to you as well. So June 2025, where will you be musically speaking? So hopefully playing Welcome to Rockville or, kind of being rock stars, I would say, right?
I would love for us to have put out another full length at least, if not a full length and an EP or two. I mean, I want to get music out there, before we get too old.
Yeah,
But
we already have a lot of ideas in the works
right,
too.
we want to have toured by then, specifically like across the U.S., but then also if we can into other countries, playing like festivals and stuff like that, like kind of like Warped, but not Warped because it's not a thing anymore.
Right.
But just doing as much as possible. Yeah, just obviously still want to be together. We want to have a drummer. We want to be at a point where we all contribute the same to the band, and it's not leaning on anyone in particular. We want to be like a solid unit and just be like trying to wreck the music scene.
And live that rock star lifestyle. So what's up, Dan C? Thanks for coming in. Dan C, if you don't know Dan C, is the goat of the beard community. He does the beard shows and stuff like that on YouTube. So thanks for popping in, Dan C. It's a pleasure to have you. So yeah, let's pop into another question. So do you see your Dream State project as a powerful statement for your band that has dared to change the post-metalcore scene?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a powerful statement in of itself, just because of like a lot of bands don't come out the gates with a 14 song full length album. It's a
Right.
very bold statement, and I feel like musically speaking, it definitely is kind of rocking the scene a little bit. It integrates like the ambience and the progressive style of metalcore and the newer genres, but also with like the old school like breakdowns, the heavy metal feel, and it just kind of like it's going to change the game for sure.
And I 100% agree. So, everyone in the chat, everyone listening in the future on the podcast, I think you would agree as well. Listening to Dream State, there's just so many variables within the 14 songs. Ambient riffs. Yeah, it's just like you said. It's gonna take you guys far, especially the way you guys made this album. Um, and again, not a bad song on that record. So definitely pick up Dream State, Spotify, Apple Music, on Stillnight's website. Help support a, a band that is going to explode, in my opinion. And so we are going to pop into the next question. We're going to try to keep this at 30 minutes. As they said earlier in the show, they do have a show tonight and two more shows the next few days. And if you can't tell, they are in their tour van. So we are taking delicate time away from them. They got a practice set up and the whole shebang for a rock show tonight. So where are you guys touring at the moment, or where's your show tonight? If any of the listeners are in that area and would like to catch that.
Yeah, so we're gonna be in Portland at Dante's
Okay.
tonight. Tomorrow is the Real Art in Tacoma, and then Sunday is the Funhouse in Seattle.
Okay. Yep. So busy weekend on the West Coast, the northern West Coast. How's the weather? How's the weather up there? Pretty cold, or?
It's not bad. It's a tad chilly, but I kind of like that personally.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm in Florida where it's hot all the time. So it maybe once a year we get that cold snap. We get maybe in the 30s, but other than that, it's relatively hot all the time. So. Next question. Based on what your band has produced so far and how your music aims to connect with the intense feelings, how has this influenced your creative process? In what way have your personal experiences contributed to the album?
Yeah, so when I was writing it, I put a lot of myself into it. I was just channeling all the things I was going through, the things I'd went through recently, all the feelings I had about being in a band, doing it as a career for the rest of my life. Just the process of just going through the rest of life. It's a lot of stuff that you don't think about on the daily really gets in your head when you're writing stuff like that. Which I learned actually. I did learn a little bit about that as I was writing because they were written for something so like for something as opposed to just writing. I've always just written before. I've always enjoyed writing, but I've never like really written for something that was going to mean a whole lot. So actually it did take a lot out of me that I haven't previously experienced. And Tony has some kind of knowledge of that from writing stuff that he's written on the side too. So um, yeah, it's a taxing process for sure, just generating all the feelings that you are having while you're writing the stuff. And I know it was the same for Cody.
Yeah, and like you said, there's no, you're fine. Don't worry about it. You can keep it how it is. Um, Oh, and we lost them, and they should be right back. They'll pop right back in, and will let me know when they pop back in. So, again, folks, thanks for joining us. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at the moment, and then we will upload this to all the major streaming platforms here shortly after the show. So, in the meantime, this is Still Night. You can check them out on IG, their website, stillnight.com, and they are based out of the West Coast. And let's give it a moment and see if they will pop back in. This is a real time, real life streaming, so things do happen. So I learned that the hard way shortly. I got the Rodecaster Pro in, and yes, I'm having all kinds of tech issues with it. And yep, so I stopped using the Rodecaster for this show until I could figure out some of the tech issues. I have the Sony A7 IV streaming at the moment, which I am having more issues with because it starts to get a little too warm and it shuts off on me. So yeah, welcome to technology. And yep, a lot of know how that goes. Real life problems, exactly. Legislation. And Dan C, I am excited for Wednesday, most definitely. I will take it easy. I won't wear the assless chaps. I'll be a little presentable, because there's kids around. But can't say I won't bring a bush light. So, what's up, Ryan Mortz? Thanks for coming in. Pleasure to have you. And all right, definitely hit you up, Dan, because I'm having some issues hearing. I can hear myself and the board, but I cannot hear the band's when they're trying to talk. So that's why I had to switch to the old school microphone. And yeah, so we'll give it a couple minutes. If not, we will go ahead and end the stream, and we will get them back on here shortly. Let me check my messages and make sure they are not having any trouble. So nothing yet. So we'll give it a couple minutes. In the meantime, if you have any questions for myself, the Sloppy Syndicate, or any questions in general. So we have 10 shows this weekend. This is the second show of today. We have 2 more shows this evening. We have 4 shows tomorrow. I am most excited about Breaking in a Sequence. They will be on the show tomorrow, and the original drummer of Korn is in that band. And Korn was actually my first show that I went to in 1999. I was 12 years old. It was Korn and Rob Zombie. So I even went to my mother's house and picked up some of the older pictures from that show. So that is going to be a great time. And Stillnight is here, and let's welcome them back. And there we are. What's up?
Hey, sorry about that.
We're so sorry. My phone just died. And I was just about to tell you we were gonna try to switch over to his phone.
No worries. No worries. It's real
So
life
sorry
tech.
about that.
Real life technology. Things happen. So
My phone battery just started draining, and I couldn't stop it. It was like a freaking downward spiral. I did not know it was gonna lose that fast.
yeah, it definitely takes it drains the battery. So Dan C has a question. Do you get outside of rock, Donnie? Yes, I actually do. So I have Brian Fraser coming up. He's a country artist. At 1:00 previous show today, we had Cody Weaver. He's a country artist. So we will be doing all genres. Dan C throughout the Sloppy Syndicate show. There is no genre that we will not touch or we will not have on the show. Because music brings us together, and music is the soul to life. So yes, any genre I am game for. Outside maybe classical music, I really can't get into that, but not that I won't have them on the show. But yeah, I'm not a big classical music kind of guy. So all right. So why the name Stillnight? So where did the name Stillnight come from?
So Cody came up with it. It stems from Invent Animate and their album Still World. That's where he got the inspiration from. He loves Invent. So does Tony. I'm not the biggest fan, but I do enjoy them. They haven't been like a huge listen for me. But yeah, that's where it came from, and he got the inspiration from them. Started making the project because of that. And what really got him to like want to do metal was The Color Clear by Reflections was the album that got him into like metal in general. Just what got him to want to play guitar and pursue music. But yeah, the name comes from Still World by Invent.
Okay, and did that influence the name of the album?
Dream State was something he came up with. I think it was just, like the thing that he came up with in his head that stuck with him. That was just the one that he wanted to pursue, which I like. I actually really like it.
Yeah, I think it kind of ties into the whole aspect of mental health. Like sometimes, when we're going through stuff, we kind of walk around like we're in a dream state. And he felt like that was just a very strong name for an album. And it kind of captured, not only the lyrics, but also the kind of vibe we were going through, and like the ambience and capturing that ethereal, kind of vibe.
Okay, awesome. So yes, there's a great meaning behind that then. So definitely love hearing that, and it being so meaningful and having such an impact on certain individuals and their outlook. So how did the band members meet?
Cody found me on Facebook. I had been starting to put together my solo thing. I was buying instrumentals from a guy off YouTube, and then going to a studio and recording vocals over them. And I put together a couple songs. Went on a Facebook group called like Metalcore. It was literally just called Metalcore, and I was like, I got you. So I sent him my stuff, and he liked it a lot. And he sent me the song Lustral, the instrumental of it, the bare bones version. And was like, will you put something together for this, just a verse and a chorus? And I was like, awesome, yeah, definitely. So I went to the studio with my guy Max, And we put something crazy together for him. It took me like no time to write it because I was super excited, and I instantly had like a great idea for it, and I was excited for it. So we went in there. I just banged that out and sent it to him, and he just immediately loved it. He thought the chorus was nice, and like my screaming and everything. So it was just an instant like yes for him. He sat on it for a minute because he didn't want to be too quick to jump, but he wanted me on there. So he asked me to be the vocalist. I said yes. And then we just started recording stuff, writing stuff, just going through the process. And then we found Tony later on because it was the same group, or was it?
It was a different Facebook group. It was the Gent Facebook group. Yeah, I recorded a self-produced like instrumental EP just to kind of get myself out there, and I posted it just online to a bunch of different Facebook groups, and I'm like, hey guys, I'm looking for a band, like I really want to do this. This is my life, like I want to make a career out of this. And nobody hit me up but Cody. Sent me a message and he's like, hey dude, you want to be in a band? And they sent me Lustral, the first song that they worked on, and I was just like, oh dude, this is right up my alley. The ambience, the lyrics, the heaviness, like this is everything I've wanted to be in a band. And we all had a FaceTime call, all met each other, and our senses of humor matched up, like our visions for the future, and it was just like a perfect fit.
Awesome. Yep. So my camera just died, so I switched to the computer camera or the webcam.
Okay. All right.
And I don't know why it does that. It's a brand new camera. I guess it's just too much of a beast to handle. I have no idea. So I got to figure that out. But and that lost my train of thought, but we will get back into it. So do you think there's something between you two that you wouldn't know about each other?
Yeah, probably. I mean, we're open books. We've only known each other for so long, but we already feel like we're like brothers. But it was probably something that we don't know.
Yeah, there's probably a few things, but I don't think it's because like we're keeping anything. It's just we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah,
right.
I feel like we are completely open books. We would tell each other like literally.
Yeah,
anything.
like the first night we were all hanging out in a hotel room. We were just telling each other our whole life story and just like all the crazy stuff that happened to us, and just everything. So.
Right. And what I thought was cool, I'm backtracking a little bit, so I do apologize. When you were saying, you were in the Facebook groups, and that's social networking at its finest. Like, hey, I was putting, some of my stuff out there, and boom, like everyone got together and formed one hell of a band with some amazing, songs on the album. So if I have to go with two of my favorite, I'm going with Atonement and Sleepless. Those are going to be my two favorites out of the album, which I love all of them. Don't get me wrong, but those are my two favorites. So I'm just putting that out there.
That's so exciting to hear because those are some of our favorites too.
Yeah, Atonement is my favorites, and Sleepless is his. So
yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
It's
right.
so wild. It's so wild to hear you say that. We were just talking. We are like, we hope they love this song. We hope they love this song. But I've been so interested to hear people's favorite songs and thinking like, wow, that's their favorite. Like, I love hearing the different opinions and different thought process that people have when they listen to it. And there's so much to listen to. It's just like, it's so exciting.
Oh yeah.
And this is going to be a tough question, and it could be multiple answers. So if you could, and this is kind of a two-part question, if there's one band or multiple bands that you could collab with, who would it be?
I know your answer.
Yeah. My answer is Northlane.
Okay.
The band Northlane from Sydney, Australia. They've been a huge influence on me for a long time now. They've been my favorite band for a while. I think I found out about them in like 2013, 2014. And like they just kind of influenced me not only in my guitar writing and just like wanting to be in a band, but also just like my frame of mind. They just have such positive lyrics, and they're just a great influence, to have. So, and their singer Marcus Bridge, like I would love to get him on a track one day and just collaborate with them. Like I would love to play a show with them. Like that would just be a dream come true personally.
Right.
Yeah, for me, I love Chris Rotter is one guy that comes to mind. I know. The question was bands, so like Most of Flames, I would love to collaborate with them. I'd love to collaborate with bands that transform something, So like if we were to get on with a band to collab with one of our songs, I would love to get with a band that could just turn our song into something like not completely different, but something like transform it into something that would be like really neat to listen to,
Okay.
as opposed to just getting someone on for a verse. It's
Right.
and so because we've done that. We did that. We had two features on the album, and it was awesome having Johnny on. He really did that. He really did transform that song Canopsia especially for me. It really made me really appreciate the song that much more. But yeah, one for me is Like Moss to Flames. I also love Landed Tours from The Plot and You. So them, Of Mice and Men, love those guys. So bands like that are right up my alley. I would also like to collaborate with Northlane though. That'd be pretty sick.
And the second part of the question, if you could open with anyone, past or present, or headline with anyone, past or present, what band would you choose?
One probably like popular mainstream one that I'd want to do is Linkin Park, if if Chester was still around. I saw that back when Austin Carlisle was on stage with them and got to play with them, that he was posting a lot about what it meant to him, and I was like, that is really sick, because a band like that is super influential to our genre, and like we kind of came from them in a way. So that's one for me.
Yeah, I would have to go with Avenged Sevenfold. They were like a huge influence on me throughout my whole life. Like early middle school, high school days.
Right.
Like, and I was always thinking to myself, like, dude, if I ever played a show with them, that would just be on a total another level. Like, that would be insane. Like, I saw them at Aftershock, and like their show was just insane. The amount of people there, like the fire, the effects, like, and just how good they were live too, and the performance they put on was amazing.
So yeah, I think for me, not that I'm musically writing or anything like that, but I think I would fanboy over, and I don't fanboy, get all giddy and whatever over. On the country side of things, probably Garth Brooks. I grew up on Garth Brooks. He's probably the GOAT to me in the country music side. On the heavy old school metal, probably Pantera. And the newer, not newer, but they've been around a while, but Atreyu has always been my favorite band since middle
Right
school.
on.
So those would probably be my top three. What's up, Bearded Vato? Thanks for coming in. It's a pleasure to have you. Again, folks, if you have any questions, go ahead and not go ahead and throw them in the chat, and we will get those answered. So the next question I have, and I mean, I don't want to sound like a Q&A the whole time, so feel free to talk, bring up whatever you want to bring up. It is your show, essentially. So has the band faced failure? And if so, how did you guys overcome those circumstances?
Yeah, so I don't think Tony was there yet, but we were writing this song called Nature Vice. Still gonna put it out actually, but the first time we tried to write it and record it, Cody wasn't feeling it, and I ended up not feeling it because of just the way we wrote it and the way that Cody wrote it before. Like, the entire writing process for it was kind of wacky. It was a wacky song to begin with. We restructured it, so we do want to actually end up putting it out, but that was what led to Eidolon coming out, actually, which is we think is really interesting. We've heard other people think that they think that that's interesting as well, because Eidolon was came out before I joined solo, and then when we decided that Nature Vice just wasn't working out, we were like, we're just gonna scrap it. But we still wanted to have 14 tracks. Like, 14 was for some reason a number that meant a lot to us. So we were like, oh, what are we gonna do? And then immediately when we thought that Eidolon was an option, we were like, oh yes, absolutely. So like right then, from that point on, we knew Eidolon was gonna be on the album, and then so we really turned that failure per se into a success, because we love Eidolon, and we really think it represents the album really well. So that's just one way where you can just flip something completely upside down.
Absolutely. So that's great to hear. One of the issues turned around and worked best in your favor. So we've touched that. So what message would you love to give to your fans?
that like, if you are feeling anything that from the album, like, that we kind of were going for, as far as like this is like what we were trying to represent, that they're not alone, you know, that we're right there with them. We've been down that road. Like Cody's had seen some significant mental health issues, which he's open about. So have I. I had kind of a difficult childhood and some hard times growing up. So it's just like we just want to like people know that, you know, basically you're not alone. Which is like we feel cliche by even saying that, but I mean it is true. It's something that it means a lot to us to express and to put out there.
And I would absolutely agree with that. So, and probably we're at 35 minutes. I know you guys are extremely busy, so we'll wrap it up here shortly. So if you did not become a musical artist, what would you have been doing?
Honestly, I have no idea. Like probably dead.
Yeah,
that's the only other thing.
I was gonna say, because he jokes about that. He's like, I'd be dead, but it's kind of not a joke to him. He really does take music that seriously.
Yeah, I actually used to be in the electrical union. I went through Lyman College, and I wanted to work on high voltage power lines. And I tried to also be like a computer programmer for a while. And I've dabbled in other careers, but after like a few years on.
You're on mute. There we go. Oh, hold on. Three more minutes. We're almost there.
Sorry about that.
No, there we go. We're
Cody's
good.
trying to call us.
Yeah, he's messing everything up right now.
Screw you, Cody.
No, but yeah, like I've tried to go down other career paths in my life, you know, just trying to like do things you don't want to do, whether it's for money or like, you know, impressing people with what career you're going down. But the thing is if you do something that you don't want to do with your life and you go down a different path, it's never going to work out. Right. Like I was going down that path and I hated my life. Like I was miserable, you know, I was on the road away from family and friends, not doing what I was passionate about. And, you know, like that's another message I would give to our fans. Like, don't care what anybody thinks, your friends, your family, whoever in your life is telling you to not follow your dreams or not do what you want to do with your own life, because that's just going to make you so much more miserable. You're never going to see success in the thing that you try to chase other than what you're passionate about.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, like I went down those career paths, you know, took out student loans, you know, was away from family and friends, like missed out on years of my life because I was chasing something that I didn't want to do. So, you know, like I don't even know what I would do other than music at this point. It's like the only logical thing.
Yeah, I personally love to write, so I guess I would try to be an author, but okay. I mean, nothing would bring me the same satisfaction that music does. I just love it. I can't see myself doing anything else.
Yep, and they say if you do what you love, you never work in a days. You know,
yeah,
you never
absolutely.
work. So, and that's why I'm very passionate about music. So this is my outlet for me to express myself and to get to know the bands and just kind of be involved in that aspect of the musical industry. So, folks, I know we 40 minutes now. You guys have a ton of work to do tonight as far as setting up, sound check, practice, everything else. So any final parting words for the audience?
We hope that everybody loves the album. I've been saying it over and over and over again. I hate being a broken record, but we really just do hope everyone loves it, because at the end of the day, I mean, it's enough that it's it means so much to us that we actually have music out there, regardless if anyone likes it. It means that much more when people actually love it. And let us know, if anyone's interested, if anyone hears it and loves it, hit me up on Facebook, hit Tony up, hit the band up. Let us know what your favorites are, what you don't like. I mean, we can take criticism. Just let us know, and if you love it, share it. And we're not asking for like donations and or anything like monetarily, because we're just trying to do this because we love music. So if you can see any of our shows that we got going on the next couple of days, if you're in Portland, come see us, come hang out. We would love. I mean, we love to do that stuff, because that's what we love to do when we were going to shows, when we were the ones in the crowd, So we just want to be on the other end, and be able to have people tell us what they love about our music, and and relate to us. So yeah, just enjoy the album, enjoy the music, enjoy the album. If you come to a show, enjoy that, and thanks for the support.
Yeah, and it's so refreshing to get out and actually be able to go to shows again. I think that's helped a lot of people mentally, mental health wise, instead of being cooped up in the house or, too scared to go out and just different things like that. So again, Still Night, you can find them on IG, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere music is available. And I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to join the Sloppy Syndicate. And I wish you nothing but the best luck. And we may have you on again in the future. And till then, have some great shows this weekend. Knock it out and rock out. And
I'd be totally down. I'd be totally down to come back for sure.
Oh yeah, same here.
awesome. So, yep, we will get you back on the show sometime. And it's always a pleasure talking, getting to know the bands and their side of things and just getting the exposure out there. So, yes, folks, check out Still Night. And we are going to end the show on that. And have a great show tonight. Rock it out. Rock the shows out this weekend. And we will catch you next time, Sloppy Syndicates.
Thank you so much.
Awesome, thank you.